one thing I'll say is I think that kids who are ready and excited about boarding school and in particular, and great kids will find great places, and a lot of these places that you're going to be looking at are great. And so step one is to turn the temperature down. I think sometimes we go into the process of looking at schools and saying, if it's not one of these three, then my child is doomed. It's probably not true, right? There's probably a lot of great places out there. And so if we can start from a place where the anxiety is really low, then we can be thoughtful and critical about what the differences are between these schools. I'm in New Hampshire, right? There's a myriad of interesting schools in New Hampshire, some big, some small, some all boarding, some all day. Just in my tiny state, there's plenty to look at. But if you don't turn the temperature down, you could become really myopic about it and only look at a few. And so step one, great kids end up making great choices and end up getting the most out of whatever school they go to. Number two, the more you're able to start to compare and contrast, you can understand that there's features and benefits. So this school does it that way, and this school does it that way. But maybe the differences are not all that consequential. So really starting to go on a couple tours, go on a couple information sessions, and figure out, know your child, know yourself as a student, and go, well, what works for me? What do I do now in school? What kind of environment am I in now? Is that working for me? Do I want something different? How different? And then what are the differences that don't really matter? And begin to kind of work from there. There's all sorts of criteria that you can assess schools on, whether they're parochial, day, boarding, 5-day boarding, what they serve in the dining hall. And some of those data points ultimately aren't going to matter to your child, right? When they step onto a campus that feels right for them, all that kind of washes away. And so I think there's an art to it, there's a science to it, and giving yourself room to allow for both of those things, I think, comes from a fair degree of fluency about what's working or not working now in school, and an appropriate level of visits, but not so much that it all starts to just become mush in your brain.